So, in my 65 years, I've got a lot of stories, a lot of things I experienced. And I'm going to have to jump around a little bit, and I'll try to keep you up to speed with what I'm talking about. But I spent some time in South Minneapolis. I spent some time in Northern Arizona. I worked in radio. I worked with a recording studio that I owned. I was a stringer in radio where I would interview a lot of famous people. I did a lot of crazy shit. And all those times I have a lot of crazy stories. But I want to tell you one of my favorite stories from when I owned a recording studio in Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis, across from First Avenue. I was doing mostly commercials and TV commercials and radio commercials and stuff like that, but I started doing music because I was desperate for money and I thought I could do it even though I'm not musically inclined. Anyway, I started bringing in people for music, and we did some recording for them. Still didn't make any money because fucking musicians don't have money, but it kept me busy. Now, this is right around the time that Prince was starting to explode, 83, 84, Purple Rain. And the funny thing about it is Purple Rain was being filmed right outside my building. Literally, I could look out the window. I remember one time coming up the street and I would see them shooting a shot, and here's Prince driving up on his mini motorcycle. He stops, trying to act real cool, but he couldn't hold the bike up. It fell over on top of him. He stood up, he swore, and then he stomped off in his high heel boots to the fucking trailer. It was kind of funny. Anyway, this is the interesting story. In all the times being in that part of town, I never really met Prince. I saw him all the time. I had a lot of people who work with me who used to work for Prince, because a lot of people used to work for Prince. He wasn't the best guy to work for at the time. But one day, I'm at my studio, I'm in my office, and I have this kid working on a song. We'd helped this kid get a minor contract in Los Angeles for one song. They used to call it a 12-inch single. And he's working on the song in the studio. Guy was a fucking goof. He wasn't talented in any way, but if somebody wants to sign him, I'm on board. So anyway, I'm sitting in my office and I get a phone call. And I'm getting musicians calling me all the fucking time, and it was just driving me nuts. So this person calls me up and says, "Hey, is such and such there?" I go, "Yeah, he is, but he's in the studio." He says, "Get him for me." I go, "Who the fuck are you?" And then the guy says to me, "I'm Prince." And of course I don't believe that. I said, "Oh, Prince is calling me. Oh my God, I'll crawl to the fucking studio and get him." Eventually I went and got the kid. The kid took the call, and I'm watching the kid, and the kid looks terrified, fucking terrified. So when he gets off the phone, he says, I say, "Who was that?" He goes, "It was Prince." I said, "Oh, great. The one time I get to talk to Prince, I tell him to fuck off." He goes, "Yeah, he told me to tell you to fuck off too." I go, "Okay, cool. Fair enough." So what had happened, this kid was going to get a deal for a single song, and he was excited about it. We were helping him. But it turns out the song he'd stolen from his cousin, Prince, when they were together in Grand Central. He stole the fucking song, and somebody out in LA recognized the song and said, "Hey, that's Prince's song." So I call the kid back in. We end up getting in a big fight. He takes off, steals half his instruments that I own, never see him again. And I'd already talked to the A&R rep from the record company. He's the one that told me that he'd stolen the song. So I got off with them, thinking this is all done. I yell at the kid takes off, I never see him again. About 2 weeks later, the A&R rep calls me up and says, "So what's going on?" I said, "What do you mean, what's going on?" He said, "Are we going to do this deal?" I go, "You just told me he stole the fucking song." "No, we're not doing the deal." He says to me, "Look, man, I don't care if he stole the song. Just let us in on the bullshit, and we'll put that fucker out and make money." I said, "Well, if you can find him, we'll do it." Kid was never found. I know where he is now. Another fuck up by a kid who spent his whole life fucking up.